Good morning, everyone. Merry Christmas Eve. That's right. Today is December 24th, 2023. I'm Darkside Phil, and I welcome you here to DSPGaming for the final holiday edition of the Level 1 podcast before Christmas actually hits. And in reality, what that means is that today, it's time to drink. So let's get going right now. All right. Yeah, let's do it. Okay, I'm just kidding. But actually... this is a remnant, one of the things left over from yesterday's Christmas marathon. It's actually funny because I, streamed all day yesterday. Very good Christmas marathon event, which we'll be recapping on this podcast. So get ready for that. But at the end of the day, I'm cleaning up. And I'm like, oh my God, I got so much stuff in here. I got multiple drinks. I've got liquor. I've got, all this stuff. I got to get out of here. And... basically clean up. I left this in here by accident. Completely by accident. This is not intentional. This is the peanut butter whiskey that I had a couple of shots of yesterday, which was pretty good, but weird at the same time. Like, it was good potency, and it went down smooth, but it's very odd having a sweet whiskey then with a nutty flavor in it as well. I don't even know how they do it. Anyway, welcome to the show. For those of you that are actually here live, welcome, and thanks for being here. For those watching on demand, thank you for the viewership. I'm not expecting much today, let's be honest. It's freaking Christmas Eve. Many people are very, very busy with their own celebrations with family and friends. Some people are traveling. I get it. It's a very busy time, and if you cannot be here for this, or if you're watching this after the fact because you couldn't be here live, it is not a big deal. I would be surprised if we get half as much viewership today as I normally would get on any given normal stream, especially because today is React Day. It's our day where we do React content to clips that are submitted over on DSP React. And quite honestly, no, I don't get that many views and or that much attention on that content regardless. So now combine that with a worldwide holiday and you're going to get a lot of reduced attendance. And that's okay. Listen, I was actually just saying this to everyone in the chat, okay? Yesterday's marathon went very well. We had a lot of fun, and we actually got a significant amount of information which we needed to start planning out for 2024. And now we can actually. So I'm very pleased about that, and the support yesterday was great. With the amount of support that I got on yesterday's marathon, it basically sets me up so that it's okay that I'm only doing a half day of streaming today, that I'm not streaming at all tomorrow on Christmas Day. And even if today's streams are pretty dead, it's fine, okay? Yesterday went so well, I don't really care about today how it goes. You know what I mean? Like, normally I would have, oh, Phil has goals and things set. No, not really. I'm not really caring about it. If anything does come in support-wise, thank you. Obviously, we're going to shout it out and treat it as a normal day, but I'm not looking for anything. If I'm lucky to get anything, right? You know what I mean? Like, I'm very grateful. So thank you guys. We're not going to be tracking goals and saying, oh, we're going to hit this amount of members and stuff like that today. I mean, yesterday was great. I mean, take a look. Look at our members, right? Now, keep in mind, 10 of those members are the gifted memberships that were the freebie members, which is a new feature here on YouTube that once a month, I'm able to gift out 10 memberships to the community. Obviously, I don't get any financial benefit or anything out of those, but it's nice to be able to give free features to some community members. It was really awesome. I did it yesterday during the 2 gameplay segments of the marathon. But outside of that, yeah, people were really generous yesterday with gifted memberships, with tips, with super chats, and it all worked out very, very well. So thank you so much for yesterday. And today, again, if anything comes in at all, I'm grateful, but I'm not going to be talking about it all stream or anything like that. Okay? Cool. So, shall we talk about yesterday? About what went down, how it went down, where the content is, so that you guys know? Let's do it. So yesterday's marathon was a good one. We started around 11 a.m. Pacific time, and it ran all the way till around, give or take, like 7:45 p.m., 8 p.m. Pacific time. So it was a good 9-hour stretch with minimal breaks. You know, I think I took one break to grab food, maybe one break to grab some liquor and change. I was changing my outfits, you know, every couple of hours. But it was really fun. Here's how it went down. First of all, we did a fun and chill podcast, and the podcast was great because I actually talked about my childhood Christmas celebration, how every year I would go over to my great aunt and uncle's house, and the whole family would get together and what we would do and all that kind of stuff. And everyone who was here live loved it. But the funny part is, of all the stuff I put out yesterday, it's the least watched video for some reason. I don't know if it's because it took a long time to process or whatever, but if you want to actually hear some stories about my traditional Christmas growing up, definitely check out the podcast from yesterday, okay? Excuse me. Then we did a gaming schedule update outlining all of the playthroughs that I'm interested in doing for the first quarter of 2024. Now, after doing that, all right, what we discovered is that basically the schedule is pretty good through March. Then it's dead. But very well that could change. It's that, you know, early on in the year is front-loaded with games, and typically April, May, June are decent months for game releases. We just don't have any dates yet for those months. But the telling thing that happened, all right, is that when we finally were able to take a big look at the landscape and how everything is going to go with gaming, it looks to me like February will be jam-packed, March will be jam-packed, but January is pretty empty. There's maybe 1 or 2 maybe filler games during the month, but there's nothing significant in January until the absolute last week of the month, okay? I think it's January 26th or something like that is the last time that it happens, or that games come out, or the first. Boy, I'm confused. Let's try this again. January 26th is the date when 2 big games come out: Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth, and Tekken 8. Okay. So that's going to be a crazy day, and then those 2 games will carry us definitely, you know, pretty much halfway or further into February. But what am I going to do for the rest of January? Because there's really nothing going on. There's like one indie horror game that may or may not be good coming out in early January, and then we've got that Prince of Persia game that's just like a 2D platformer. I don't know if I'm playing it. So nothing definitive coming out. We kind of have to figure this out. And number one, I can tell you this. This is the absolute perfect time for me to be playing Baldur's Gate 3. I'm very happy I waited till now to play it because I have no other focus, right? If you look at my gaming schedule right now of what I'm playing and juggling. Excuse me, I have a tickle in my throat. I'm trying to get rid of it. Number one, we got RoboCop. I'm playing through that game. We're almost done with it. Everyone has said maybe 1 to 2 more streams and RoboCop's done. There's 9 story missions left and a little bit of side content. So I'm going to estimate 1 to 2 more streams and we're going to beat RoboCop. So, you know, by early January, RoboCop will be done. Like a Dragon Gaiden. You know, I'm over 20 hours into that game. We're in chapter 4 of 5, and I've done almost all the pieces of side content in the game available. So really, it's story from here on out. And from what I'm to understand, yeah, there's a good amount of story left, but not a ton. You know, the game only has about 10 to 15 hours of story total, and we've already gotten through like 6. So within a few streams of that, we may actually beat Like a Dragon Gaiden as well. So with those 2 playthroughs pretty much almost done within a few streams, and the only other things in the rotation being every once in a while a Modern Warfare 3 multiplayer stream, or every once in a while, you know, a Street Fighter 6 stream. That just leaves us with a lot of Baldur's Gate, which I'm okay with. But once we wrap up RoboCop and Like a Dragon, which is likely going to happen maybe that first week of January, we're going to need something to do for a couple of weeks to keep balance. I don't want every single daytime stream to end up being Baldur's Gate 3. I like the game, but number one, I do feel like I'll get bored with it if I play it every day. And number two, I feel like my audience also will get bored and be like, dude, that's too much of that. We want variety. You're a variety streamer, so please balance everything, right? So we do need to figure this out. We need to think about this over the next week and a half, and figure out what would you guys like to see me play in the interim as I wrap up these other playthroughs, but before the two big games hit in late January, okay? So let's start thinking about that. Let's begin that dialogue. Should it be going back to a game that I had played previously and now resuming and finishing? For example, my second run in Elden Ring, that was a magic run that went for like a month. We got to the Lich Dragon, we beat him with this magic, and then we haven't played since May. We could go back and finish the game, which would be interesting. I haven't played it in ages now. I have to get back into the swing of things, right? What about the Street Fighter 6 story, which probably would only take one more major stream to beat, but hey, it's lingering and we still haven't finished it. What about some of the games that I missed out on during the fall time that I was interested in playing, but we never got to? For example, one I'm really interested in is Sea of Stars. That's a game that's on Xbox Live right now, on Game Pass, so it's not even any cost to me if I want to play it. Apparently, it is a spiritual successor to 16-bit RPGs like Chrono Trigger. It won Indie Game of the Year at the Game Awards, so obviously, it's really good, right? Joel says, what about Resident Evil 0? That was a game that we were considering earlier this year, and we didn't get to it. But it's a game I've only played once, right? And if I played it again, it could be fun to jump back into it and experience it again for the first time in ages, right? It's been a long time since I played it. What about Lords of the Fallen? Although I say that, and when I say that, it's kind of weird because a month or two ago, everyone wanted to see me play Lords of the Fallen, and now that's 2 months later, it's like, a lot of people just are like, nah, they're turned off. Like, I think the case was that people didn't know if the game was going to be good, so they were excited to see me play it. And I said, maybe November, maybe December. And now that these months have passed, almost no one's interested in it anymore. Like, people have seen it like, that was no Lies of P, it's not a big deal, right? So I don't know. Like, we have a lot of options. That's just a few options. That's not what we actually have to do or what we have to draw from. I'm just throwing ideas out there of things that we could do and balance here. Because once late January hits, it's going to be a focus between Like a Dragon and Tekken 8. And then in between there will be some Baldur's Gate 3 and probably some other various one or two things. And then over February, a bunch of other games are coming out. So once we hit that, we're basically in our stride. You know what I mean? Like, we're in our stride. It's not going to be any lack of games or anything like that. It's going to be smooth sailing once we get to that point. Okay? So, this is what we need to start discussing. If anyone has ideas, if anyone has theories, if anyone has any kind of a take on this, I'm very willing to listen. I would love input. Input is critical to success. You know what I mean? Like, the more input I get, the better. So, please share with me your thoughts on what exactly it is you would like to see me play over January to balance with Baldur's Gate 3 so that we're not just playing Baldur's Gate 3 and it doesn't get burnt out or stale. Okay? Would love to hear your balances. I would love to hear your opinions on this. Okay? Cool. So, that was one of the big critical things that we determined during the Christmas Marathon. How about games? Well, first game we played was Phasmophobia. And Phasmophobia, no exaggeration, went about as well as I expected that it was going to go in the setting in which it was presented. And here's what I mean by that. Phasmophobia is an online co-op game where you're expected to team up with a group of other people who kind of know what they're doing, and you're going to use different gadgets and things to find evidence of ghosts, and after a while the ghost starts to haunt you, and then apparently you team up to document that evidence and figure out what ghost it is. Like, that's the point of the game. Phasmophobia is not meant to be a game that for the first time you've ever even touched it, you boot it up during a marathon where you don't have time to research or figure out what you're doing. You have a live audience that wants you to get to the meat of it right away, but you don't even understand the basics. And by the way, you only have 90 minutes to play it. It was the worst. I'm not kidding here. Phasmophobia, I feel, is likely a great game if you approach it with the right amount of time, resources, mindset, and information, right? But it's an indie game. This is not some AAA game that's going to walk you through with a high-end tutorial so you know what you're doing. It's not easy to jump into. This is a game that takes some research and time and takes a team of people, right? You can play it solo, but it's nowhere near as good solo from what I'm to understand. It's supposed to be a social experience. So if that's the case, why the hell did everyone nominate and vote for it for Christmas? I mean, you know what my marathons are. I do them every year. They're not any different. It's always the same. It's always an hour to an hour and a half to play a game. I don't have time to immerse myself or learn. It's just like play as much as you can, right? In the time you have. Why would you have nominated and voted for that game for Christmas? It doesn't make any sense. At least for Halloween, the idea is it's a horror game. That game did not fit into the Christmas Marathon whatsoever, but I'm not going to go against the wishes of the viewers who nominated and voted. I'm just going to say what gives, because that was probably the worst possible game you could have picked for the Christmas Marathon. I'm not mad. I'm just being honest with you. That was a really bad selection, you know? So what did I do? I tried to play through the tutorial to understand at least the basics, all right? So I could understand the game mechanics and stuff like that. The tutorial took like 40 minutes. You know, you're going through each room, you're learning how each device works. All right, so I got the gist of it. I couldn't finish the tutorial because I didn't have a microphone, which, by the way, again, everyone knows I don't have a microphone to interact with a PC. So why you selected a game that needs a microphone, I have no idea. Again, it doesn't make any sense, but people still picked it. So, yeah, that was the deal. And I got through the tutorial. Okay, let's play. And people were like, well, you should just go right into a game co-op. Okay, I sat there for over 10 minutes trying to matchmake with people. No one would start a game. Everyone would form a lobby, talk, and quit. Form a lobby, talk, and quit. And then I got into a lobby, and it was just people throwing snowballs at each other and not playing the game, and then they all quit. So it's like, this is the game, huh? So basically, unless you go into the game with your own party of people who know what they're doing, you can't party up with randoms. It's definitely a game meant for your friends or a team of people playing together. It's meant for a team of streamers who maybe want to play together. It has nothing whatsoever to do with my kind of style of content in any way. I did try to play it solo. Okay, for maybe, what was it, 15 minutes? I walked through a house with all the devices. I detected absolutely no paranormal activity whatsoever. The only thing that happened was, after walking around the house for like 10 minutes, the car alarm went off in the garage. So I ran to the garage with all the devices, and I couldn't find anything. Okay, well, time's up. I've now played for 90 minutes. And everyone's like, oh, so disappointed. Then don't nominate that kind of game. If you know it's that kind of game, why are you nominating a team-based game when I don't have people that I team up with? Right? Why are you nominating a game that you know you have to learn and walk through, and it takes a while to do that? Why are you doing this for a marathon? It makes zero sense. So, listen, nothing against the game. I actually feel like that could be a pretty good game. Like, in the right setting, with the right people, with the right knowledge, that sounds like a creepy game. And it definitely sounds like a game that if you team up with other streamers, you know what I mean? Oh, I'm watching so-and-so stream with so-and-so, and they're playing Phasmophobia, man, and they're freaking out, and they're screaming at their cameras, and they're acting like they're haunted. Okay, I can get the entertainment factor of that. What does any of that have to do with me? You all know I'm different. You all know I'm not the same as every other streamer out there. I'm not a memer streamer. I'm not someone who co-ops with everybody else just to get extra views and clickbait. I play games at face value. I review them for what they are as a single-player experience. If it has a multiplayer component, I play it online like Modern Warfare or Street Fighter. But you know I'm not a co-op streamer, so why suggest a co-op game? Stop. I was going to say that right up front now. Stop. Stop wasting time. Because it's a waste of time. I felt like we could have been playing something else that would have been much better. In the hour and a half that I had a shot or two of this, and I tried to get buzzed and be funny with commentary. So hopefully if you watch it, you at least enjoy it. But yeah, it was a waste of 90 minutes of the marathon. It absolutely was. You know, what can I say? Okay. The other game that we played was The Grinch Christmas Adventures. Now, here's what I will say about this game. It absolutely reminded me of another game that I played many years ago that many of you actually nominated for another marathon, incidentally, for a Christmas marathon several years ago. It reminded me of, hold on, Scrat's Nutty Adventure. Remember that? You guys for years said you should play Scrat's Nutty Adventure. We want to see you play Scrat's Nutty Adventure. We're going to nominate it. We're going to vote for it. You're going to love this game. I played Scratch Nutty Adventure. It was the most boring, easy mode, blase platformer I'd ever played. You could tell the game was designed for children. It really didn't have any kind of challenge or appeal factor for an adult at all. I played it for, what, an hour and a half, and we got so bored, we said, we're never playing that ever again, right? And that's what we did. We never played it again. Fine. I hate to say it, but that's kind of the same thing with this Grinch game. It is insanely simple. All you're doing is you're running around collecting presents, and you're avoiding some enemies. You have no way to attack enemies in the game at all. You have no offensive capabilities. All you can do is jump around them or platform around them, or every once in a while there's a boulder you can maybe push into some, but you actually can't fight the enemies, which is incredibly unsatisfying. Like, you want to be able to fight these things, you can't. There's actually sneaking segments where you're inside of a house and crazy living gingerbread men come after you. Yeah, you remember that scene in The Grinch where crazy 3D gingerbread men come and try to give him the bad touch? I don't, but that's in the game. Like, that's a major component of the game, sneaking around these houses avoiding gingerbread men. It's a weird game, and it honestly, it's just not that good. It's a $40 game. I got it for 28 bucks on Xbox Live because it's on sale, and it only has about 4 to 5 hours of content. If you rush through the game, you can beat it in around 3 hours. But knowing yesterday I played it for about a little over an hour. I'd say like an hour, 15 minutes, and we beat 4 worlds. The game has 16. So if you do the math, you know, that's about 5 hours to beat the whole game. And it doesn't seem like it's anything, no bosses, just straight up platforming, grabbing presents, avoiding enemies, and every once in a while sneaking around a house, grabbing presents and avoiding gingerbread men. That's the whole game. I think there's a little bit more, like there's a snowboarding segment as well. But it's just not that good. And, you know, it was funny because some people were like, well, if it's only 3 hours long, would you consider playing a night stream of it later on to finish it? Does anyone want to see that? I mean, I'll propose the question to all of you. If you guys want to see me go back and finish it, I own the game. I would do a night stream or two where we just dick around and play it, and it would be more about me talking with you guys than anything. But would you rather I play that or something different? You know what I mean? Like, I'll be honest, I didn't really like it. It was pretty boring. At first, we were having fun because the entire game is rhymed, just like a Dr. Seuss book. So I'm trying to rhyme with it, and we're having fun, laughing, and joking. And after you play for like 45 minutes, you're like, okay, this is it? Like, this is really the whole game, huh? Like, I don't know if I ever want to, you know, go back to this. It's so boring, right? So, anyway, I'll take in your feedback. Let me know. If we want to do a night stream or two that's a chill stream to try to beat it, we can. But it just seems like a big waste of time. It's definitely a game for, like, a kid who just wants something to play for Christmas, and that's about it. I mean, the length of it kind of attests to that. So, that was the 2 games I played. I mean, honestly, they were both busts for various different reasons. Phasmophobia, I can see its potential, but there was no way that was ever going to work during a marathon setting. The Grinch just seems really boring. You know what I mean? It's for kids to rush through a platformer, basically. Outside of that, we also did a fun tier maker, and the tier maker was actually one of the more fun things we did the entire marathon, where I ranked all these different Christmas movies and specials and things against each other. It took about maybe an hour to get through them all, and I did have to rush a little bit at the end because my food arrived and I wanted to finish it up. But for the most part, that was really, really fun. And I enjoyed it. I hope that you guys did too. And then we actually had some food, and it was Mexican food, and it was chicken fajita quesadillas, which was super good, giant deluxe quesadillas with dipping things and sides of beans and rice and stuff. It was really good. I definitely enjoyed it, and you can check that out. Well, I'll talk about that in a second where you can check it out. And then at the very end, I had kind of a conclusion video where for an hour we just kind of talked and hung out, and I tried a traditional Christmas pudding from Britain, Great Britain. I'd never had traditional Christmas pudding before. I didn't know what it was. That was absolutely nothing like I was expecting in any way, shape, or form. That is not even what we call pudding here in the United States. So to have it, I was like, wow, this is so culturally different from anything that I would be used to. So here's how those videos split up and divvied out, okay? The podcast, the 2 gameplay videos, and the schedule update are all right here on DSP Gaming, as well as the daily wrap. The food video, the tier maker of the Christmas specials and movies, and the conclusion video featuring the Christmas pudding taste test, those are over on DSP Reacts, okay? What's funny is I would say that all of those videos are good and worth watching, but all the videos here on DSP Gaming have more than twice as much viewership as the ones on DSP Reacts. Now, those videos have only been live for like 10, 11 hours, but still, it's kind of weird. It's the same. I would argue the tier maker is probably the best content. I'm serious. Like, the tier maker, I think, was the best thing we did all day. And that has like 200 views. But the crappy gameplay of the Grinch has like 700 views and climbing. It's like, huh? Okay. Anyway, it's all live. Give it a look. And yes, yesterday, generosity was very, very large and in charge. We had about 100 gifted memberships to the channel over the course of the day, which is outstanding. Super chats were good. Tips, we had hundreds and hundreds of dollars of tips. So because of that, thank you so very much. Because of that support, again, I can basically relax and say, hey, because of that, I don't have to worry about what I make today. I don't have to worry about the fact that I'm taking tomorrow off for Christmas Day. I can just have a nice relaxing time with my family. I'm actually going to order some food because I'll tell you what we're going to do later today. Thank you for that. And thank you, I'll say this, thank you so much for a great year. 2023 was a great year overall, even with all the nonsensical drama and bullshit that people tried to pull me into. We basically got right through it. We avoided it. We stayed here on this channel and enjoyed everything that I did, right? The React stuff went decently. It could have went a lot worse than it did. The gaming stuff has gone great. It's hilarious to me because if you look at my overall views on DSPGaming, they actually went way down this year. I mean that. Like, the views are down. But my revenue, it hasn't gone down at all. And what does that tell you? What that tells you is that I had people who were basically coming and watching for all the wrong reasons, didn't enjoy the content, they were hate watchers. Well, now they decided not to come and watch on this channel anymore. They probably go watch the restreamers and shit. But the core audience of people who enjoy my stuff are still here. And how could I have a dip in views but not any loss of revenue? Because those people weren't here to be productive. They were toxic people. So it doesn't matter that they're gone. It actually doesn't affect anything, right? So, yeah, pretty good. Overall, 2023, I very, very much enjoyed this year. I'm grateful to all of you for another great year. And, here's to another one. Now that the Christmas stuff is about to be over with after this React show today, we can push towards the year-end series, including my Game of the Year awards, my most disappointing games countdown, the best playthroughs of 2023 viewers choice event, which you guys are working on right now, and then new playthroughs for January, continuing on with Baldur's Gate 3. Next year's gonna be a good year. Excuse me. Excuse me. I've got some stuff in the works. I'm basically not going to spoil anything, but there's a few things in the works that I hope you guys will like. That may be some good positive stuff. All right, we'll see. I'll let you know. But there's absolutely no reason to jump the gun at this point until I've got some things more solidified. But I may have some announcements for you guys soon. Let's just put it that way. I may have some positive announcements for you guys soon. That's all I'm going to say. I'm literally not going to tease or spoil in any direction. But I have some stuff kind of already in process that may be pretty good for next year, that I hope would be good. So we'll see what happens with that, all right? And if you're like, well, when can we have more information? When I'm ready, but it might be sooner rather than later. I might actually have some concrete, interesting information for all of you soon about some good stuff coming up next year, okay? That's all I will say. All right, so the Christmas Marathon went down very well. Now let's talk about the schedule for the rest of the week. Today is Christmas Eve. I'm only doing one stream. I'm not doing a full streaming day today. I want to spend time with my family for the holiday. So what are we doing? Well, we're doing this podcast right now. And then when this podcast is done, we're going to head over to DSP Reacts for DSP versus the Internet, my weekly React show over on that channel. A lot of holiday-themed submissions, but not all. I actually think we had less holiday-themed submissions this week than last week, which is weird. It's Christmas Eve. So we'll see what's over there. We're going to watch Ultra member videos first. Then we go into the randomized playlist for the standard members. We got some Q&A questions as well. The usual stuff, and it should be a good time. And then once that's done, I'm out for a couple of days. I'm going to upload all that content. I'm going to do my daily rap video. I will not be here tonight for a late stream, nor will I be here tomorrow, Christmas Day. Okay? So I wish you all the best. If you don't check out the React show, I hope you have a very happy holiday, no matter what it is you celebrate. Be safe, have fun, and when I come back on Thursday, wow. When I come back on Tuesday, the 26th, it will be a full day of gameplay streaming. It's going to be Baldur's Gate 3 continuing on the first stream. and it's going to be Like a Dragon Gaiden, late night chill streaming on the late stream, but it's going to be pretty much all story because we've done pretty much all the side content in the game besides the highest level Coliseum battles, which I just don't feel like doing right now. They're very grindy, and we did a ton of them already, so I'd rather just make progress in the story. So that'll be Tuesday night, and then Wednesday is going to be more Baldur's Gate 3. That's right, even though this is an abridged holiday week, I'm still playing 9 hours of Baldur's Gate 3. And then Wednesday night will be Modern Warfare 3 multiplayer to end the week. I'll do some akimbo guns. We'll do some other things. We'll mix it up. Maybe I'll go back to melee because I was kicking ass with the melee weapons, right? Maybe we'll do that. So there you go. That will be our week. I'm off from streaming on Thursday. When I return on Friday, it'll be more Baldur's Gate 3 and Friday Night Fights. We're going to do another session with Blanca and Street Fighter 6. Saturday will be a daytime stream of RoboCop, where we'll see how far we can get. I don't know if we'll beat the game, but at that point, we should get pretty far. If there's only 9 story missions left, you would think we're probably going to get pretty close to the end of the game. And then probably that Saturday night, we'll probably do some Like a Dragon. And then, of course, Sunday will be React Day. And we'll go on from there. We'll play it by ear for the week. The goal will be, obviously, to not only do a lot of Baldur's Gate, but possibly finish RoboCop, possibly finish up Like a Dragon Gaiden. And then when we get to the first full week of January, so not that end week next week where it's kind of half and half December, January, but that first full week of January, that is when I'm going to sit down and we're going to do the year-end awards. So what are these year-end series I do? Game of the Year countdown, most disappointing games countdown, and the new thing we're doing this year is, I'm very excited for this, is viewers' choice, best playthrough of 2023. So right now you have the ability to nominate your favorite playthroughs of what I did this year. Just type ! best of 2023 into the chat and the link will pop up. Or you can just go to the main channel page, community tab. I actually posted up that thread where you can nominate at the beginning of the month. So you got to scroll, to the beginning of December. But please keep posting up your favorite playthroughs. I know for a lot of people, Baldur's Gate is their favorite playthrough. Others are thinking that games like RoboCop or maybe even Modern Warfare 3 multiplayer has been their favorite playthrough. Please nominate that stuff. All right, and then what we're going to do, no, it's not moments, it's overall playthrough, Scallop Potatoes. He says, are you going to have people submit timestamps? No. We're not doing moments. It's going to be overall playthroughs, okay? So please nominate the games, and then what I'm going to do is the next week, like when we hit January 1st, essentially, I'm going to take your nominations, tally them up, and the games that were the most nominated are going to hit like a top 10 poll, and you guys are going to vote, and that's going to determine your top 10 favorite playthroughs, okay? So there you go. And so we're going to have 3 countdowns, and those will happen like that first full week of January. Likely what we'll do is daytime streams of like Baldur's Gate and something else, whatever we start up, and then night streams will alternate, but we're going to have like one night will be my Game of the Year awards, and then one night will be like the disappointing games countdown and stuff like, you see stuff like that on the late streams, okay? Should be a good time. I'm excited. I hope you guys are too. This new year should be a prosperous and fun one for everyone, especially here on DSP Gaming. Okay. I think I've covered the schedule. I recapped the Christmas marathon. I'm just trying to think. Like, normally this would be the segment where I do plugs. I'm not going to do plugs today. There's no point. Like I said, if you guys want to contribute, thank you in advance. Obviously, I'm appreciative of that. It'll help out. But I'm not asking for anything today after the generosity you guys had yesterday. So let it ride. If we get anything, thank you. Like I said, I would be shocked if today we even have half as many viewers today as we usually have. Yeah, look, we only have 300 viewers on the podcast. Typically we get 400 to 500 these days. We got way less. That's okay. It's Christmas Eve. I bet when we start with the React stuff, we're going to get down to like 200 viewers. It's fine. I expect that on Christmas Eve. It's not a big deal, okay? But outside the realm of that stuff, excuse me, we're just going to basically do some shout-outs here, and then we're going to do Q&A, and we'll just chill for a bit until we swing over to the React stuff, okay? So what am I doing for the rest of today? Well, after we finish with the React show, and I upload, and I do the daily wrap, and I update the schedule, my wife and I are going to order some Asian food. Normally, we get some kind of Chinese food or something on Christmas Eve. That way we don't have to cook, because we're going to be cooking twice tomorrow. But we're not sure what yet. My wife's actually looking right now to see what's available. We're kind of leaning towards something different. Like, there's 1 or 2 Asian restaurants, particularly a Chinese restaurant we usually go to, but I think this year we may do something different. So she's trying to find something else, that maybe would be a little different. And so we're going to order out, have some food. Tonight, She'll probably play some Goat Simulator, or we'll watch someone else play some games. We'll probably have a few drinks. We actually have a box of chocolates we bought from Costco we want to open and share. We're going to exchange some Christmas gifts and stuff like that. We're going to have a nice family night together. Oh, yeah, Jasper Kitty. Jasper Kitty is going to get some presents today. We bought him a big stocking of presents, and we're going to start giving him his toy presents today to play with. So, we are excited. We are excited for tonight and then tomorrow, you know, a whole day together. Tomorrow we're gonna actually be making breakfast together, some scrambled eggs, waffles, and some turkey sausage. And then we're going to be doing a whole day of relaxing. Basically, we have all kinds of interesting things we want to do. Watch some Christmas shows like Polar Express and stuff like that, and or other various things. And then at night we're gonna actually have a dinner. We're gonna have turkey breasts wrapped in bacon. And we're going to have homemade sweet potato, mashed potatoes. And we're also going to have a green bean casserole. So we got a lot of stuff tomorrow. A lot of food. But other fun stuff as well in store. It should be awesome. Can we see Jasper today? You know, I wanted Jasper to come into the office yesterday. My wife told me he stayed downstairs the entire day with her. So he never came upstairs. If he was upstairs, I would let him in. Nope. He's downstairs, see? He definitely tends to stay downstairs with Kat during days that I stream. Every once in a while, I'll open the door and he'll be right outside. He'll be waiting like he wants to come in or something. But he hasn't, you know, a couple days he hasn't been, so yeah. Can't bring him in if he's not around. Okay, so I'm trying to think. Did I cover everything? I think I covered everything I wanted to talk about. All right, so thank you all. I see many people are wishing me great Christmas wishes. Thank you for that. I wish you all as well, you know, a very Merry Christmas. I hope that you all have great stuff in store. And I certainly hope that when I'm back on Tuesday, all right, I hope that you guys will share with me what you were up to. I want to hear about what you got for Christmas. I want to hear about what you were up to, what food you had, what activities you did with your family. Like, I'm very excited to hear from all of my viewers on that stuff. So I hope that you guys will share with me when I come back Tuesday, okay? All right, let's get to some shout-outs, because we've had some contributions coming in. Obviously, I want to get shout-outs for that. We start off with Lil Shake and Bake, who re-upped their membership this morning and says, Happy Christmas Eve. Let's have a nice podcast and react. Thank you. And then Smudgy did a super chat making a 7 to 8-year-old reference of something negative. Thanks, Smudgy. Happy holidays to you. G. McFly did a $5 super chat and says, new subscriber here. Merry Christmas, Phil. And to everyone else tuned in. And Merry Christmas to you, G. McFly, thanks for subscribing. I hope you've been enjoying the stuff around here recently. And thank you for the support this morning. And then Lil Shake and Bake did a couple more super chats. One was a $1, and then another one was $2. And says, I'm wearing a Mario Christmas sweater that I got when I was 12. Really? Well, first of all, hold on. You're wearing something that fit you when you were 12, and it still fits you today? If I tried to put on something I wore when I was 12, it would be, like, as big as my hand. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty remarkable that stuff still fits you all these years later. However, it's awesome that you're in the seasonal feeling and, you know, dressing up for the occasion. Sounds good to me. I'm glad that you are enjoying. Thank you for the super chat. And then Apollo popping their 10-month member notifications. It's Happy Holidays, Phil. Big ups with a big flex, a big arm flex emote. Thank you very much there, Apollo. I appreciate that. Let's see here. I think that's all that we've got so far for today, which is fine. First of all, it's only 11, wow, it's only 11:42 a.m. If you guys can't tell, I didn't have much planned for today. Today is very much, for me, a more relaxing day. After yesterday having this marathon where I had everything planned and I had to do this and this and that, today is just a laid-back day. We're going to do a laid-back podcast, a laid-back react show. There is no stress today at all. I'm just here to chill with you guys, okay? So what I will do right now, I will open up the chat to Q&A. If you want to tag me in the chat at DSPGaming and ask me any questions, I'm down for that. If any contributions come in, I will shout them out. If we get bored here, we can easily switch over and start with the react show on the earlier side. Let's see what people want to do today. Okay. Jade says, Merry Christmas Eve. You're not going to see me again for Baldur's Gate 3. He's going to his dad's. Oh, that's right. You said you're going to your dad's today, right? So I wish you the best. Have a fun time with your family. And, you know, if I see you Tuesday morning maybe for the podcast, and I get it, you don't like Baldur's Gate, but I'll definitely see you for Like a Dragon Tuesday night, right? I want to hear about what you did over the Christmas break here, so awesome. Derek says, thank you so much for a fun Christmas marathon. I had a great time. Thank you for doing the tier maker. That's right. And props to Derek, who made that tier maker for us. He also made a tier maker for Halloween that we didn't even get to use because I was sick and we didn't have a Halloween marathon. But thank you. That was very useful, right? That tier maker was good. The reason I like that, it's the title screens of the movies, and it's just the splash. You can't mistake it. Like, for example, I go on tier maker sometimes, and I can't tell what the hell the picture is supposed to be. I'm looking at it, I'm like, I don't know what the hell that is. Remember we were doing Halloween horror movies, and it was like the horror creatures' faces? Like, I don't even know what half of these are. I can't make them out. Well, if it's the title with the big, the logo, then you can figure it out. So that was well done, and thank you, Derek, for that. I appreciate that. Fallen Angel says, in relation to games in January, I'd be interested in seeing Sea of Stars. Or someone said yesterday, Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core Reunion. There you go. Any eggnog left? Oh, there's tons of eggnog. I only had one eggnog yesterday. So yesterday, here's what I drank during the course of the marathon. I had one full glass of the, it was supposed to be apple cider whiskey. It tasted like apple pie to me, and it tasted great. Like, I thought the flavor was outstanding. So I had one of those to start. Then I had an eggnog, right? Over the course of the day, I want to say I had maybe 3 shots. I want to say that was 3. Does that look like 3 shots? Because this was full when I started. So probably 3 shots of the peanut butter whiskey. And that was about it, you know, between the food, because I ate food with the Mexican kind of, you know, got me full. And the other thing is I didn't want to get overloaded because last year I had all these Christmas cookies I had bought. And I couldn't eat any of them because I was too full from drinking and eating. I didn't want that to happen this year. So I kind of made sure to pace myself and not overdo it so that I could have that Christmas pudding at the end. And it worked out well. So, yeah, good stuff. And I have tons. I have a ton of eggnog in the fridge. I've got a ton of the apple whiskey to drink. I'll probably have some of that tonight with my wife. She had a sip of it and loved it, and I was like, maybe we should have some of that tonight for Christmas Eve, right? And this, obviously, this is strong. This is 80 proof, so I'll be drinking this slowly over time. You know, it's good stuff to have in the house. You know, celebrate every once in a while, have a shot or something. It's nice. Let's see here. King Be Cruel says, this is the first Christmas my wife and I are celebrating with our daughter. Congratulations. She got me the PlayStation earbuds for Christmas. It's awesome. Hope your Christmas is great. Oh, the branded ones? Aren't they called like the Pulse earbuds or something like that? Hopefully they're good. Usually that stuff's good. I liked the Pulse headset I had for a while. The only problem was they broke within a year. So hopefully the earbuds are of better quality. Well, congrats and enjoy and Merry Christmas to you. Merry Christmas, Brian. Brian says Merry Christmas, Phil. Merry Christmas to you. Oh, my nose itches. Merry Christmas, Derek. Neil says, I've had a rough 2 years, but it always helps when I watch your shows and playthroughs. Great channel, mate. Glad you kept it going. Thank you, Neil. Listen, let me put it this way. I'm 41 years old, all right? I've been a different person many times in my life. Like, I feel like the person I was when I was a teenager is different who I was in my early 20s, is different who I was when I was an early YouTuber, is different who I was for that middle time, and now for the last 5, 6, 7 years, I'm a different person again. Like, I feel like I've evolved over time, all right? Right now, my mentality in life is this, okay? If anything that I have done in my existence on this earth has helped out others, put a smile on someone's face, made someone feel better, or otherwise just made someone else's life better, then I've done my job, all right? Even if it was intentional or not, as long as something positive has come out of my existence on this planet, then I feel like I'm doing the right thing, right? Despite the fact that you get so many people in life that are against you and say the other opposite and, oh, you're doing everything wrong or whatever, as long as people are getting something positive out of what you're doing, then it's worth it, right? And that's my mentality now. When I get a message from someone like Neil, it makes me know that, you know, I'm doing the right thing. So thank you for that, Neil, and happy holidays to you. Fallen Angel said, I already got my Christmas gift. My PC broke last month. My wife got me a new gaming PC for Christmas. Some small stuff coming tomorrow, but already the big one, you know, already was given. That's awesome. That's absolutely awesome, man. Getting a gaming PC for Christmas, holy shit. That's awesome. Hope you enjoy it. Baldsam says, we appreciate your mentality because that helps ours. And that's what life is all about, is it not? Reciprocating, right? I do something, it makes you happy. You guys support what I'm doing, which makes me know that what I'm doing makes you happy, which makes me happy, right? That's what it's all about. It's reciprocation, and everyone. I'm more of the mentality now as an adult. When I was a kid, it was like just me. I only care about me. Now that I'm an adult, it's like I want everyone to have fun. I want everyone to have a good holiday. I want everyone to be healthy. I want everyone to be happy. I want everyone to just be good and good vibes constantly, right? If we all are doing well, then why on earth would everyone have ill will towards anybody else? If everyone is doing well, no one cares, right? The problem is on this earth, there's so many people who focus on, well, I'm not doing well right now, and that means I want everyone else around me also to be miserable. So let me bring everyone down with me. Let me yell at this person, make fun of this person, hurt this person, step on this person to get ahead just for me. And that's a really messed up mentality to have, but yeah, sadly, there's a ton of people like that on this planet. It's certainly not in line with the whole mentality of what the holiday season is supposed to be about, and some people are just like that. So what I say is, you can't help those humbugs, but all you can do is try to do the right thing for yourself and everyone around you, and that's what I'm trying to do. All right? Drees says, I do applaud you. Blocking out all that hate. Keep staying positive. You as well. JJNS says, words should heal instead of wound. Exactly. You're telling me that in life there's no way that you could say things that make people feel good and you could still prosper? You have to say things that are nasty and bring people down in order to prosper? Why? Really? I don't believe that. I feel like you should be able to have a positive presence on this planet and still make out. And maybe that's rare, or maybe, you know what? Maybe that's harder. Maybe the easy way out is to be the toxic negative person, right? To bring down everyone else around you. I don't want to be that. I want to be the positive person. Excuse me. Derek says, I'm going to go to relatives' houses tomorrow for Christmas. He brought his 2 nieces some clothing. His mom has a box of fresh fruit like mangoes and oranges. Awesome. You're going to give fruit as a present. Hey, if they love fruit, it's all good. I would never look negatively at a gift of food as a present as long as it's something that I like. If you come to my house and you try to give me, like, black licorice, then I'm going to be upset. All right? You bring me a box of candy corn, I might slap it away. Mozzie. Hello, Mozzie. Thank you for the super chat. It says, happy holidays and nice hat. Thank you, Mozzie. And happy holidays to you as well. Thank you for the super chat. And I'll wear the Christmas hat. Now it sounds like we're on a Seuss thing again from this Grinch yesterday. Cool. Any chance of trying Elite Dangerous? I don't really know what it is. Elite Dangerous. I've heard about this game many, many times over the years. By the way, Neil, tag me in the chat to make sure that I don't miss your messages. All you gotta do is tag at DSPGaming, and then I'll see it. It actually highlights it for me. But I've heard about this game. If I remember correctly, is it PC exclusive? That's probably why I just never cared about it, because until this year, I had no access to play PC games. My PC is 10 years old. It's good enough to capture and stream, and that's it. I can't play a game while I'm also doing that. But this year I was gifted a mini PC, and it can basically run games at like mid settings. So I don't know much about Elite Dangerous, but I've always heard of this. Isn't it like one of those in process developed PC games or whatever? So basically the way I see is this year coming up could be a big year of freedom for me. I'm no longer confined to just the PS5, the Xbox Series X, and the Switch. Now I have capability to do things on PC to some extent, and I'm excited for that. I don't know how much we'll take advantage of that, but we'll see, right? What does my shirt say? There you go. The Bob Ross t-shirt. Bought it several years ago. Actually, it was my wife who picked it out. My wife picked it out, and I've worn it on and off for various years. Actually, I keep forgetting I have it. And last couple of years, I wanted to wear it more, and I totally forgot about it. But now I was like, I'll just wear it for Christmas Eve all day, right? There you go. It's a space flight sim. Gotcha. Elite Dangerous, that is. I used to watch Bob Ross back in the day when I was young. When he was on public broadcast and everything, I used to watch the guy. I did. Before he became a meme of the modern day, he actually was known back in the day. You can get Elite Dangerous on consoles? Oh, I didn't even know that. I swear it was a PC-only game. Did I consider asking my wife for a high-end gaming PC for a Christmas gift? Okay, let's think about this for a second. We're married. We share everything. I can't afford a high-end gaming PC. How would she afford a high-end gaming PC? Huh? What? So the answer is no. Unless my wife wins the lotto, no, that's not capable. It's not possible. I'm sure she would like to buy me a high-end gaming PC, but we can't afford that, right? Fallen Angel says, I do have to get going in a couple of minutes. I have some errands to do today. I'll be back later. Hopefully catch some of the react. If I miss it, have an amazing Christmas with Kat and Jasper. Thank you so much, Fallen Angels. You as well. Have a good time with your family and or friends or whoever you're spending it with. Zombie is being a troll and says, why do you refer to your wife as your mom? I don't. All right? Every once in a while, you have to understand I'm getting older. And as I get older, I've noticed a few things, okay? Basically, as I get older, I'll think one thing and say another. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, I'll be talking about something, and I want to say apples, and I say bananas. You know? I want to say blue, and I say black. It happens when you get older. It's that you get a little bit of brain fog every once in a while, and when I'm on stream all day, every day, speaking with all of you, every once in a while, the wrong word will come out. You know what I'm saying? It's not intentional. It's not even an association. It's just, you know, who are the family members that mean the most to me? My wife, and obviously Jasper. That's my immediate family. Who's the next people that pop into my head? My parents, right? So if I'm thinking in my head and talking about cooking, what associations does my mind have in my head with cooking? My wife and my mother. So sometimes the wrong word pops out. It's just an association in your head, and you get older. You'll find this out as you get older. It happens literally to everybody. Like, my dad has told me about it, too. As he's gotten older, sadly, you just kind of lose control of being able to be 100% in control of everything you do the older you get. It just happens. The brain, you know, it's just a natural thing. And, you know, every once in a while, I'll say the wrong thing. But the difference between me accidentally saying an incorrect word and anyone else is that I have an insane mob of thousands of idiotic stalking weirdos on the internet who treat me completely unfairly. You know, anyone else, they accidentally say, you know, I'm talking about Cat making dinner and I say my mom or something, they would laugh, ha ha ha, that was a cute, funny thing that he did, that he made a mistake, he's human like us. I say it and it's like, oh my God, there's some insane conspiracy between his wife and his mother. So now we have to microanalyze this situation from every angle to try to figure out why he superimposed this word instead of this word when he meant this word. No, you're weirdos. You're losers. You're messed up in the head. No one does that. No one who's normal thinks that way. You're like hyper analyzing and hyper focused on a silly situation that's a normal thing in life. But you have to treat it like it's something important because you're losers. All right? You really, like, you need help, you know? And it's just funny because here we are on Christmas Eve. And someone just came on my stream to super chat and ask me that incredibly dumb question. On Christmas Eve, people are obsessed to that level where they bring something up like that. So, it is what it is. It doesn't mean anything. It's just because I'm getting older. Yes, every once in a while you get the brain fog or you say the wrong word. It happens all the time. Sometimes I stutter, right? It doesn't mean anything. It's just I'm getting a little bit, you know, becoming an elder statesman. I got hair coming out of my ears. My balls dangle a little lower, you know, and it happens. And, you know, no, I don't focus on any of that nonsense because it's not a big deal. But these people are... Exactly. Sunday says, do you remember one day you called Jasper Derek? Remember that? Or did I call Derek Jasper? It was one or the other. I just superimposed the wrong word again. What am I thinking? Because Jasper had been in the room. I'm talking to Derek on stream. I say the wrong word. Big deal. Doesn't mean anything. To a normal person laughs at that situation. Haha, that was funny, right? But then these weirdos, you know, they just make mountains out of molehills. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about. They're weird. What game do I associate with Christmas or would put me in a jolly mood? A particular game? That would be a tough question. You know, back in the day, it actually used to be multiplayer games, because any multiplayer games would usually, during Christmas week, this was when I was an early YouTuber, you know, 10, 15 years ago. Christmas week, I didn't want to do any serious playthroughs, so I would just play multiplayer of various games. Like, one day I would do all Call of Duty, and the next day I would do all Assassin's Creed, and the next day I would do Street Fighter, right? Like Street Fighter 4. Like, that's how I did it. And so the holidays would feel like this awesome multiplayer, chill, laid-back experience. But I don't know if particularly there's like one game in my head that makes me think of the holidays. You know, I've talked about my best Christmas present of all time was likely when I got the Super Nintendo when I was a kid. And I played Super Mario World all day on Christmas. But that doesn't necessarily mean to me that like Super Mario World is a Christmas game. You know what I mean? Neil says, have you got one favorite overall game of all time, like Street Fighter 2? No, I have favorite games of genres. My favorite fighting game of all time is Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, or Super Turbo for sure. My favorite platformer is Super Mario World for the Super Nintendo, right? If you ask me what's my favorite RPG, it's probably a tie between Final Fantasy 4 and 6, but Chrono Trigger is right in there too, so that's a hard decision, but it's probably, those are my top 3. But it's all genre specific. I don't have like, this is my favorite game of all time and I would only play it, because that's how I am. It's the same thing with food. People say, do you have a favorite food? Well, no. I really like this, and I really like this, and I really like this, and the reason that I enjoy life is because I alternate between. If I just sat there playing one game endlessly, it doesn't matter what game it would be, I would end up being bored. That's how I am. That's why I have my variety stream mentality, where at any given moment, I'm juggling 3-4 different styles of games. That way, I never get bored with what I'm doing on my streams. It keeps stuff going, and it keeps a different kind of audience around, too, every stream. So, that's how I operate. In my mind and in my work and everything, so. Derek, you really want us to watch this Deck the Halls movie. This is a movie called Deck the Halls for 2006, Matthew Broderick and Danny DeVito. Maybe I'll watch it someday. I don't think we're going to be watching it tonight or tomorrow, just saying. We'll probably be watching some of our favorites. Like I said, she really likes Polar Express. Well, I saw that Emma Otter's Drug Band Christmas, I think, is on either Max or Amazon Prime. I really like that special from when I was a kid. We'll probably watch that, and we'll see what else is on there. We got to see what's available on our services that we have, and probably just watch a few various things. Anyone would think I'm from the Super Nintendo generation. Yeah, I mean, I grew up in the 80s playing Atari 7800, and then I started playing arcade games, and then I had the NES. Even though I had the NES late in its life cycle, I actually got Super NES close to launch, and I had that for its entire life cycle, and that's my favorite console of all time. Had so many games from back then. So awesome. Any new plans for DSP Reacts in 2024? You know, it's hard to say, and the reason I say that is, you know, I have plans. Like, I would love to do that interview series that I wanted to do last year. Maybe now things have calmed down a bit to the point where people would actually want to do it again. But with all that nonsense that happened last year, I completely put the kibosh on that. You know, I had 2 people lined up to do interviews with me, and then they didn't want to do them anymore because of the negative shit tossed my way because of nonsense. And I was like, I get it. Like, I'm not gonna be mad at people who don't want to be interviewed by me when everyone on the internet is crapping on me, right? So, yeah, we'll see. What I would say is, what would you like to see for DSP Reacts in 2024? Because ultimately, that's the more important determining factor here. Not what I want to do with the channel, but what do you guys want to see on that channel, right? That I'd like to hear your feedback on that. So, the Patrick Stewart Christmas Carol, I really like, because I like Patrick Stewart as an actor. I really think that he did a good job as a very British version of Ebenezer Scrooge in that adaptation of the classic Charles Dickens story. Yes. No, the Muppet Christmas Carol is also insanely good, for sure. DSP reacts to the 2024 election cycle. The debut of DSP Politics could be a hit. As I've said, again, to reiterate, the reason I stay away from politics is not because I don't want to talk about them. It's not because I don't feel like I have something significant to say. I think I actually do. And in fact, I think my takes on things would be a lot different than those that you've heard, because usually you either hear extreme to this direction or extreme to this direction. It's very hard to hear, like, a more balanced take, because everyone wants to go polarized, because that's where the money is. If you're all the way over here or all the way over here, that's how you make money on the internet right now. But I'm really not like that in real life. So I feel like if I were to do political commentary on things going on in politics and stuff, I would have a significant amount to say that would be different from what you hear normally. However, sadly, we live in a big society of extremes where a lot of people have this weird mentality in their heads that instead of saying, okay, I agree to disagree, even though I don't see from your perspective, thank you for sharing your perspective, and I respect it, even though I don't agree with it, and let's now go on with our lives. No one in America is like that. Seriously, everyone in the United States is like, so you agree with me, and if you don't, you're my enemy. Right? So it could be like, wow, I really like DSP Gaming. I really enjoy Phil's gaming content. Wait, what? He disagrees with me on politics? I hate his guts. I can't ever watch his content ever again, and I'm leaving. Bye-bye. And that sucks, because I don't want to lose viewers over that stuff. You know what I mean? So, if I ever were to do political stuff, all right, I would have to try to figure out a way to do it tastefully, a way to do it to separate it for sure from my gaming content. I would absolutely need to do that. It couldn't be stuff that crosses over in any way. It certainly wouldn't be on this channel. You know what I mean? Like, I'd have to really strongly think about how to handle that. And the other concept here that we have to understand, okay? If I dabble into anything new, as we found out this year, if I dabble into anything new, it takes away from my focus of everything else. I've been known on the internet for 15 years as a gamer, right? People come to DSP Gaming to watch my opinions on games, to watch my honest playthroughs, to hang out with me on a podcast and talk games. That's primarily what I'm here for. The moment that I step into something else, that's time away from that. This year, I launched DSP Reacts. Once a week, I do a react show called DSP versus the Internet. We're about to do it, right? In a few minutes. And then I did a few marathons where we did like long form react events for like a documentary or whatever, right? Those were good. And we did a few other special things. We reacted to a couple other YouTube channels this year, remember? And that was all good and fun. But the problem with that is when I did it, I didn't have time to do as much gaming, and immediately I got complaints. Why are you behind on this game? Why are you taking so long here? Why did you do enough gaming? I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. I'm one person. I'm not a team. I'm not a studio full of people working together. I don't have a production crew. I don't have a filming team. I don't have other people. It's just me. So the moment I step out of this comfort zone of gaming to do something else, it takes away from the gaming. And that's what we got to understand. Now, here's the thing. I really feel like coming up, all right, in the future, I need to diversify my content. I can't just be a gamer forever. I'm not kidding you when I tell you I've got carpal tunnel that's getting into this hand, all right? And that's why I have this guy here, and you'll see me sometimes on streams using him, and I get numbness, and I get tenseness and pain, and the older I get, it's going to get worse. It's not going to get any better. It's just going to get worse, all right? I'm going to get to the point, all right, where I'm not going to be able to just play games all day, every day. Maybe I'll do one game stream a day and I have to do another stream that's particularly not gaming. Whether it's political commentary, whether it's covering the news, whether it's a react show, or whatever it could be. So maybe that's eventually what'll happen. Maybe we'll have daytime streams, our gameplay, and night streams are completely different content, and I split it that way. And the thing is, if I can have that level of success where the alternate content is successful, then yeah, then that makes sense. Right now, the React stuff, it ain't doing so well. I'm just being honest here. The React stuff started strong this year, and then basically when people yelled at me that I wasn't doing enough gaming, it died out. I stopped doing the long-form Reacts. I stopped doing the special events, and then the viewership, dwindled, and It is what it is, right? People wanted more gaming this year than they wanted other stuff. Even though previous years, everyone yelled at me for React content. When I finally focused on it, people said, well, we actually don't want that. So that's what I mean. Like, what do? I have to find that balance. I have to find this kind of stuff, right? I do. I have to find what we're going to do in the future. And it can't just be gaming. I mean, if anything, this year, what I found out is I have big limitations. Look at Street Fighter. I tried playing with characters like Chun-Li and Aki. I can't use them. I literally can't. It's too control intensive. Do stance switches and stuff. I can't do it. My hand was killing me just trying to play that stuff. I have to play with more easier to control characters, you know. That's light, you know. Nothing I could really do. So it is what it is. But let's tackle stuff like this in the future and begin to address it and begin to consider it. But no, I'm not going to just all of a sudden on a whim say, hey, well, the elections are coming up, so let's just become a political figurehead on YouTube and have everyone hate my guts because no one agrees with me, right? There you go. Shout out to Sleep1224, who became a member this morning. Our first brand new membership of the day, actually. I appreciate that, Sleep. How are you doing? Happy holidays, and thank you very much for the support. Okay. Uh-oh. Oh, excuse me. I felt that one coming. I wanted to turn around, so I didn't do it right into the mic. There we go. Let's see here. I received a $25 tip from 1 Minute Man. He says, Merry Christmas, Phil, and Merry Christmas to the chat. Thank you very much, 1 Minute Man. Once again, 1 Minute Man, one of the long-standing supporters, comes by no matter what I'm doing and supports pretty much every day. I really, really appreciate that. $25 tip, our actually first tip of the day today, right? Am I right? We didn't have any other tips, right? So thank you so very much, 1 Minute Man. Normally, I would say, oh, let's hit a goal. And so I'm not caring about that today. I'm not. I had a great day yesterday. So anything today is greatly appreciated, but you're not going to hear me talking about goals and stuff today, okay? Thank you very much, 1 Minute Man. I appreciate that. In fact, I should just do this because, again, we're not really doing goals or anything today. So there you go. Cool. I'll still put on the glasses if we hit 50 bucks, but like I'm not going to put on a hat. I already got a hat on, right? So there you go. Grime Rashes, would you bring back Cooking with the King? No, I'm not a cook. I have no intention to bring a cooking show to my content. It's been literally almost 15 years since I did an episode. There's no reason to do it. It was a joke. It was literally a joke show. That's why it was called Poorly Cooking with the King, but I guess people forgot. No, I'm not cooking. Zero says the introduction of a daily podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, a post-produced show after a live broadcast with embedded ads could be a new revenue stream. I don't do paid product placements. I don't embed ads. I don't do any of that. You're literally talking about designing a completely different product that I have no interest in making. So I appreciate the support, the suggestion, but no, I'm not doing that. I'm not. The whole point is I want people to come to my YouTube channel. Why would I then do a podcast and put it on Spotify and put it on Apple Podcasts and have to try to find a way to make revenue from those versions? I just want people here. That's it. That's all I care about. You as well, Rugal. Rugal is here and says, hope everyone is having a wonderful Christmas Eve. And let's be honest, I do cook. I cook all the time, every day, live here on stream. That's enough cooking. We don't need to see me cooking other ways. I cook enough right here on my streams. We already got too much smoke in this kitchen. You know what I mean? What comedians did I like growing up? Seinfeld, Chris Rock, that era of like 1990s comedy. But I was never heavily into stand-up comedians or anything. I was more like in the movies, you know, like Ghostbusters and stuff like that. That era, Harold Ramis, Dan Aykroyd, Bill Murray, that kind of comedy. John Candy. I wasn't really into stand-up. Tito Man says, my mom has carpal tunnel. Her arms get numb after a while after doing housework or cooking. Yeah, because what happens is your nerves end up getting compressed, and then you lose feeling. That's happened to me. Like, no exaggeration. I'll be doing something, or I'll sleep a certain way, and then all of a sudden I have no feeling in my arm. The other day, 2-3 nights ago, I woke up and I had excruciating pain in my arm if I bent it like this or if I stretched it out. The only way it didn't hurt is if I had it middle of the road like this. Every other direction was excruciating pain. And I'm like, well, this really sucks. Luckily, I was able to still game. This was Friday, actually, because I was worried because I had to play Street Fighter that night. I was like, I hope I'm going to be able to do it, you know? Sometimes I'll just be sitting around, I'll be leaning on my elbow, and the next thing I know, I can't feel my hand. I'll get all numbness in these two fingers. I can't feel anything. And I have to wait like an hour for the feeling to come back in my hand. It's going to get worse. There's nothing you can do about it. It's just something to do with age, right? Oh, let's see here. I got a $1.50 tip. I don't know if my last tip went through or not. I don't know either. I just got this message. I don't know who you are because you haven't put a name in your tip. I did receive this tip that says I don't know if my last tip went through or not. But I don't know if anything else came through because I don't see a message. It didn't come into... What's supposed to happen is when you tip me, PayPal notifies me via like an email notification. And that's how I know that tips have come through. Every once in a while, someone says, okay, you're not shouting it out. Did you get it or not? And I can go manually check, but yeah, I didn't. I got the email for that one, but not another one. So I apologize if that's the case. I think I missed half of a message here. Hold on. Oh, okay. It was Zero's idea he was following up. Okay, I see Zero. Let's see. Yes, Derek, I did see you submitted a Christmas in Toronto video for today's React show. That should be fun. I really enjoyed over the last couple of weeks. We saw Christmas in Germany, Christmas in Singapore. I guess today we'll hopefully see Christmas in Toronto. Those are great topics for the React show, for sure. I think that's going to do pretty good. Yes, I've seen Coneheads. Coneheads was not only on SNL, but then it was a movie. And I saw the movie quite a few times because it was on HBO all the time. Merry Christmas to you, Casanova. How are you today? How's your Christmas Eve going? Hopefully well. Coneheads was the first time you ever saw a Subway shop. Yeah, don't they eat like the whole sandwich in one bite or something? They go, wow. They eat the whole Subway sandwich, if I remember. Yes, I've seen the Harold and Kumar movies. Yes, I have. Yes, John Candy was a great movie comic, and he did go way too soon. Sucks that, you know, we lost him because he was really, really good in movies. I thought he was outstanding. Merry Christmas to you. Disciple Gaming and Food Reviews. Thank you. Turtle Sniffer said I look festive today. I'm glad to hear that. I tried. Zero, we've already addressed this topic. He says, are Die Hard 1 and 2 Christmas movies? If you think that Home Alone is a Christmas movie, then Die Hard has to be a Christmas movie. Home Alone's theme is about a child being left home alone and having to defend his house against burglars. It is not a Christmas story, but it takes place during Christmas. It happens to have supporting characters, like the neighbor who broke up with his family but then wants to get back together with them for Christmas. So it's not it could have taken place any time of the year, but it just so happens it takes place at Christmas and it actually adds a little bit to it. I mean, Die Hard's the same. The plot is about a bunch of terrorists taking over a tower and kidnapping people, and then one man sneaking through the vents because they don't know he's there, trying to free them all and take them out. It just so happens to take place during Christmas. So if you think that Home Alone is a Christmas movie, then Die Hard is a Christmas movie. And if you disagree, you're wrong. Sorry. Okay. How about a retro stories show? I used to do a podcast before this one. I used to do a podcast ages ago, and it had a segment that I used to call Back in the Day. And what it would be is me talking about times in my childhood, or my teen years or whatever, essentially like different stories from different time periods in my life, talking about stuff like that. But then I turned that into a daily podcast that I now call the Level 1 Podcast, and now we talk about those kind of topics all the time. So we don't really have the official segment anymore. But I know what you're saying. Like, what about a show that just focused on that? That could be interesting, maybe, perhaps. I received another $1.50 tip. Just sending again in case from Ashwolf Rev. The event was fun. I feel like those who voted for Phasmophobia knew what they were doing. It's a co-op game with VR in mind. It's just a game to fuck around with friends in. Legit, the only times I ever got jump scared was with it using features of VR, and they put things right in front of me. So there you go. And again, you have to understand that I don't know anything about it. I've heard people mention this game over the years and say, oh, Phil should play it. Here's the truth. I feel that to this day, people don't understand how different I am from other content creators. They don't get it. They see this popular streamer who gets, a million subs, thousands of people on each stream, someone who's known, they co-op with other people frequently, and they see them play Phasmophobia, and they go, wow, they had a really good time with Phasmophobia, getting jump scared and joking with other people. I bet that would be great. I want to see Phil in that position. That's never going to happen. Darkside Phil is someone completely different from the people who you watch who are popular, right? I am. I've always said this over the years. I am a man sitting on an island alone, doing my own thing in a way that's unique and different from everyone else, and that means that I'm not going to have every opportunity to enjoy every style of game. There are so many of these games. Among Us, right? Phasmophobia and others. Those are games for memer streamers. Someone who sits there and teams up with other streamers and they're memeing and they're doing that's teen stuff. You know what I mean? Literally, that's teen content. Guess who doesn't come to my streams and watch them? Teens. Teens are my smallest, less than 1% demographic on YouTube. So when you see those other streamers enjoying those style of games, that's great, but understand not everything is for me. Listen, I'm a single player gamer. Every once in a while, I'll delve into an online community that has competitive multiplayer like a Call of Duty or a Street Fighter. You're not going to see me get heavily into co-op with anybody. You're not going to see me doing online MMOs. You're not going to see any of that. That's not my style of content. I'm not going to be playing every memeable game that comes out. I'm not going to be playing every game that has this co-op mentality. It's just not going to happen. No matter how much people want. Again, exactly. Lethal Company. That's another one. It's a memer streamer game. Everyone team up with your memer streamer friends and go on, and everyone plays a character. It's the same game again. Yeah, it's the same shit. I get it. I understand why it's popular. There's nothing wrong with it. That's for bigger, popular, teen-aged style content creators. That's not for me. Okay? You have to understand that. I get the desire to see me play the games that you think other people have played successfully and enjoy, but not every game fits my style of content delivery. All right? So we have to understand that. And I totally understand that. And, it is what it is. But I do feel like that was a complete waste of everybody's time. Mine and the viewers. There was no way that game was ever going to work. Do I necessarily think it was all trolls who nominated and voted for it? No. I think that it's people who are well-intentioned, but they don't go that extra step to think, okay, this is a good game, but would it work for Phil's style? Because Phil's style is very different than what all these other memer streamers are doing. I'm not some big streamer. I'm not. I'm not going to have that level of fun and popularity to have other people joining me and having a coherent, silly party atmosphere. It's just not going to happen. It'll never will happen with the amount of people who stalk me and do fucked up things. No one wants to have that experience with me because they know they're going to get harassed after the fact, so why would they bother with it, right? But it's fine. Hey, if you enjoy that content, good for you. But I don't think that should be imposed on me. If I've got an interactive event coming up, don't nominate those kind of games. It's never going to work, right? Oh, let's see here. I just got another $1 tip from Lee. I just got here. Are you going to continue playing the Grinch game, and is it worth buying? I already talked about this, but in a nutshell, it's pretty darn boring. It's super easy. It's very basic. There's not even any combat in it. It's just platforming and avoiding enemies. It's definitely meant for a younger audience, like kids. I played it for an hour and a half. We beat 4 out of the 16 stages, and I was pretty bored by the end. I already asked the audience that if you guys want me to go back and play it and finish it, I will. Arguably, the game takes 3 to 5 hours to beat. 3 if you just rush it. 5 if you take some time doing optional stuff. It's nothing to write home about. 4 stages in, it was almost all exactly the same gameplay over and over. I was getting really, really bored with it. So, probably wouldn't recommend it unless it's a game for kids. you want to do co-op with a child or something, it's probably a really good game. But outside of that, I don't see how an adult would really get enjoyment out of it, you know? Let's see here. Tito Man says, I'm a variety gamer myself. I'll play single-player games. Now I have a PS5. I also play PS4 games that I might have missed, and I enjoy them for myself. Yeah, and that's the thing. Listen, again, look at big content creators. What do? Every new game, every flash-in-the-pan experience, we got to play it. We play it for like a couple streams. And if it does well, we keep playing it, and then we team up with others, and we do it. But then, if it doesn't work, we just drop it like a hot rock. Whoop, bye-bye. And walk and play the next game and play the next game. And that's not who I am. I've never been like that. I don't want to be like that. Someone who just disposes of games left and right just to find what's the new virally popular game, play it for a week when it's popular, and then give up on it again. Yeah, that's not my content. It never has been. I'm never going to be those other people, so it doesn't really make sense to try to impose those games on my events, right? Like, it's not going to work. I get it. Some people are sad because they want to see me enjoy a game that they saw someone else enjoy. I get it. But again, not every game's for everyone. Do you think those memer streamers are going to play Street Fighter 6? Yeah, they're really going to go online and grind with Dalsim and Lily and hit master rank, right? No, of course not. It's different strokes for different folks. You have to align the right kind of content to the right kind of creator, and then that's the perfect formula, right? Play Cool says, I was expecting you to like it more. Not that I would know, but you said people were talking good about it when I see Steam reviews. Yeah, again, that game, if you're playing it co-op and you go into it with some research on how to play it, right? And the intention that you want to have a spooky time as well. That's the whole idea. You're going into it with the intention that hopefully there's a ghost that will jump scare you or something, right? It's kind of like you're going to watch Ghost Adventures, right? And you go into it with the mentality you want to be spooked or scared or you want to believe, right? Ladies and gentlemen, I have something to tell you about Ghost Adventures. It's fake. Okay? It's not real. It's a stage show. They over-exaggerate. They over-emphasize. They purposefully exacerbate what happens in their investigations for entertainment purposes. You get that, right? It's the same thing of people playing these games. They are over-exaggerating what you're seeing in the game to make an entertaining experience so that you will then like it and support it. Do you get it? Like, it's the same deal. I don't know how people can watch those streamers and think, oh, this is legit. No, it's not legit. Dude, did you ever see anyone play these horror games without screaming uncontrollably at the camera? They do it on purpose. They've been doing it for over a decade. How do you think PewDiePie got his start? That's how he got popular. It's fine, but it's fake. You understand that, right? How do you still not get that? In 2023, you don't understand that this shit is fake. And then a normal person will play that game and be like, what the fuck am I playing? You know, because they're not acting. Right? I mean, I just don't understand how people are still fooled by this stuff. Maybe because I'm older. Maybe that's what it is. Because I'm older, and a lot of people want to be fooled. Because if you get fooled, then you get entertained. Right? If you actually think that the game is going to be a scary-ass experience, maybe you'll like it more. Right? Just like you go into Ghost Adventures wanting to be scared and hoping the ghosts are going to be there and real and they're going to scare you. Right? Exactly. It's suspension of disbelief. You suspend your disbelief for a while just to say this is going to be scary or fun. But I don't play games like that, right? I analyze games for what they are. Phasmophobia is an indie game that definitely is unpolished, doesn't even look finished. It could be fun in the right setting with the right people, but it's definitely not some game that I'm going to jump into for 90 minutes and understand and enjoy. It's just never going to be that, right? All right, guys, we got a little bit more time if anyone has more questions, but we will be starting the react show soon. Last chance if you want to tag me and ask me anything. I just got another tip, a $3 tip from William. What's your opinion on tryhard gamers playing games on the hardest difficulty possible? Let me put it this way. It depends on what we're talking about, okay? First of all, like I just said earlier, it's different strokes for different folks. If someone really feels like they don't get an entertainment value out of a game unless they pump it to the max difficulty, that's fine. That's why there's difficulty sliders in these games to begin with, right? Maybe that's just you. Maybe you don't feel a feeling of accomplishment unless you know you've tackled the maximum challenge in a game, okay? Now, if you're a content creator, you have to judge what's best for your audience, right? Sometimes it's better to tackle a game on a harder difficulty if it's just piss easy and it's not fun to just coast through it, correct? Or on the flip side of that, maybe it's more entertaining to actually see you have real progress in a game rather than beat your head against the brick wall and fail 72 times, never beating the first boss because you were too stubborn and you turned it on the highest difficulty, right? So for everyone, it's different. I don't think there's a universal answer here. Yeah, if you want to play on a harder difficulty, good for you. Go for it. That's fine. But what I think really what the problem where this comes in is when people superimpose their beliefs on others. Just because you want to play a game on the hardest difficulty doesn't mean everyone else has to. It also doesn't mean it works for them or makes better content for them if they play it harder, right? There's been many games over the years where I booted up. All right, let's start. Oh, well, you should play it on hard or extra hard. Why? It's a brand new game. I've never played it before. I didn't do any research about it. I don't even know how to play it. Why am I going to immediately play the game on hard? I want to play it on the intended default difficulty that the game designers put in there so that someone like me who's a noob to it can just understand it. Maybe if I play it and I find it's too easy, then I'll up the difficulty. Or vice versa. If I play through the game and it's easier, maybe I'll do a second playthrough later on that's a challenge run that's harder, right? But why would you superimpose your beliefs on others? Everyone has the right to play games however they want. If you don't like the way they play it, then don't watch them play it, right? So there you go. I think another problem is a lot of people just don't have the ability to express an opinion in an intelligent and positive way. Instead of saying, hey, I really feel that your playthrough would be much better if you played it at a higher difficulty level, and here's why. The bosses are a little bit more challenging, added to more added suspense, and a little bit better feeling of accomplishment after you complete them. Certain areas of the game are way too easy on the default settings, and therefore, by making it harder, you'll make every area more balanced. It wouldn't have like a game that all of a sudden plateaus and never really increases in difficulty, you know? But no one says that. Instead, it's like, wow, you're a scrub, you're a bum, you're an idiot, you're a loser, you can only play kiddie games. Look at them playing on journalist mode, bro. Wow, I'm never going to watch this because you're a pussy wimp and you won't play it on the real difficulty. Why are you playing it on extra easy? That's how people say stuff, because they're morons. If they could just learn to say things in an intelligent way, people would maybe listen. But it really is in the delivery. It really is. But people just don't get that. Instead, they just want to sit there and be insulting and dumb. And I hate to say it, I feel like a lot of the reason for that is the internet. The internet has taught people that because you're anonymous, you could just say whatever you want in any awful, really obtuse, offensive way and get away with it, and it's fine. But people won't listen to you. They'll phase you out if you always talk like that, right? But that's people don't care. And then the problem is you get people who prosper being awful like that to people on the internet all the time. And so I'm going to be like that too, right? No. For me, I will listen to your feedback. If there's a game that you really, truly feel would be much better experience on a harder difficulty, I'm open to listening. But I don't need to feel like you're demanding it. And you know what I mean? Like, there are people like that. Like, hey, you want to play on hard? Go for it. You want to play on normal? Go for it. Hey, you want to play on easy? That's fine. Just be sure if you're a content creator, that's in line with what your viewers are expecting and that it's still entertaining. You know, if you're playing this game and it's piss easy because you picked it on normal, I mean, that's your fault. You got to live with that, right? But everyone has the right to judge for themselves. There's no reason to say, oh, that's the wrong way or right way to do it. Everyone to each their own. That's why these options exist. No, Derek, I don't remember the show Ghost Rider. I actually never watched it. I just knew it existed. Do my parents have home videos of me on Christmas? We never owned a camcorder. So no, they would have pictures. They probably have endless photo albums of me growing up. But we never owned a camcorder. They were way too expensive back then. So we didn't have anything like that. No. Did I ever play Arcade Paradise? I don't know what that is. So I guess the answer is no, Aspire. Are my parents having Chinese food tonight? I have absolutely no idea. I actually will be calling my parents later tonight to wish them a Merry Christmas and see what they're up to. Gareth, Merry Christmas to you as well. He says, would you consider playing Resident Evil 0? We talked about that earlier today, that in January, Once I beat RoboCop and Like a Dragon Gaiden, we have an opening of 2 or 3 weeks until the end of January when Like a Dragon and Tekken 8 come out. So we'll have a few weeks. If people wanted to see me maybe play Resident Evil 0 again, it might be a good opportunity to do that. If you remember, that was going to be one of the games I was actually going to play during Halloween. And then the Halloween marathon didn't happen because I got sick. So... Arcade Paradise is a game with a real arcade and 35 total games. Tub says, I'm making McRibs from scratch at home for Christmas. I marinated the spare ribs in mustard and some spices overnight. Wait, what? Hold on, Tubs. Hold on, everyone wait. Everyone hold on. No one ask another question. We got to focus on this one. I'm serious. Tubs, you want to make homemade McRibs from scratch and you've marinated real pork spare ribs. Is that what you're saying? I want to confirm that's what he's saying. Can you confirm that in the chat, Tubs, that that's what you're doing? You're marinating real pork spare ribs. Right? It's going to be like 20, 30 seconds. This is very important. Stupid delay. Tubs, are you there? Hello? Tubs. Where'd you go? This is what I get for trying to have a direct conversation with someone. Tubs, are you listening? I want to confirm you have real pork spare ribs and you are marinating them overnight to make homemade McRibs. Is that correct? For Helgen, Merry Christmas to you as well. Good to see you here today. Tubs, are you even listening to the podcast? He hasn't responded. Okay, you responded. That's correct. Okay, so to confirm, Tubs wants to make homemade McRib sandwiches. And what he's doing is he is overnight marinating pork ribs with mustard to prepare them for these homemade pork rib sandwiches. Okay, Tubs, you've completely screwed up. You've completely made a horrible mistake. McRib sandwiches are not made from actual pork rib meat. It's just a bunch of shit that they mash up and then they formulate into a patty that looks like ribs. It's not real ribs. And then you eat it, and the only reason it has flavor is because they slather it with barbecue sauce. That's it. You're not actually making McRib sandwiches. You failed. If you actually want to make a McRib sandwich, here's what you do. Take those pork ribs. Take all the meat off of them, all right? And put the meat aside. So you're going to have left on there, you're going to have like the grizzle and the cartilage and shit, okay? Scrape that off onto a plate. Okay, now pour that plate onto like a cutting block or like a cutting board, and you take a big mallet like this, a tenderized mallet, and you go, you smash it. You smash that cartilage and leftover pieces into paste. All right, then you have that paste get coagulated, pressurized, put it into a gun, and you squirt it into a mold. Like that. Now, you have to add a ton of fillers. Because you're not real meat. It's a ton of fillers. You know, fucking probably grains and shit. Fill it in so it sticks together. And it looks like a rib, but it's not. It's actually just the byproducts of what should have been from the rib that was good. But you removed all the good meat. That's going to a good restaurant. You got to have all the leftovers, all right? So now you have put it into the mold. Okay, now you got to paint it so it looks like it's real meat because it probably looks disgusting. It's probably like Duty Brown or something. So you got to paint it so it looks like it's meat, okay? Then you add in a bunch of spices so it actually has some kind of flavor. All right, then you slather it with a barbecue sauce, slap it on bread. You made your homemade McRibs. Beautiful. And by the way, you have all that delicious real pork rib meat on the side you could go eat at another time. Very good. McRibs are some of the worst food you can eat. They're terrible. People have tested the meat and found out there's so little rib meat in a McRib. It's a joke. Like, it's actually a lie. It's false advertising. You're not actually eating rib meat. Now, if you're saying, I just want to make homemade rib sandwiches, you're doing great. That sounds like gourmet stuff, man. Marinate those ribs and have some good stuff for Christmas. But you ain't making a McRib. Hell no. So when you add the MC to the front, that's just a bunch of shit. Okay. All right, I got another $2 tip from Golson. Not sure if my first tip went through. I'll ask again. We'll ask the king come back in 2024 before you retire the show. I have no idea. If you remember, we did Ask the King for the holidays last year. We did one more Ask the King early in the year. And then I said, well, let's just focus on other stuff, right? And we did, and we said, well, we don't want to retire the show. We'll bring it back. We wanted to hit episode 100. I want to say Ask the King's at like episode 96 or something like that. Did you hear anyone ask for it this year? I talk every day. We do Q&A every day. I even have a Q&A segment on my weekly React show. Like, I just feel like Ask the King's just horribly outdated. No one really needs an entire stream dedicated to me answering questions, right? So, if there's demand for it to come back, it can always come back. I haven't deleted the shit from it. I still have it right here. I literally have, look at this. Watch this. You ready?
Mail, motherfucker.
See? Anytime I can bring it back, but I don't think there's really demand for it. I don't think anyone really cares. Right? Yeah, I mean, this podcast has taken over for many different things. It took over for my old podcast. It took over for pre-streams. It took over for Ask the King. That's what this podcast has become. Not to say that every day we have a Q&A segment, because we don't. There's some days that we have so much news and important topics to cover and things we don't do Q&A. But a lot of the times we do, and that's really where this has picked up from, right? Yeah, no snow. No snow here either. Last night we did have freezing temps, but there was no precipitation. Today, we're supposed to have a little bit of rain, but it's never going to hit freezing, and tomorrow it's actually even warmer. So we are not going to have a white Christmas here in Washington State. We're going to have a wet Christmas, but not a white Christmas. So there you go. All right, everyone, I think it is time for us to end today's fun podcast. I enjoyed the Christmas Eve festivities here with you. This is the last, well, I'm still going to do the weekend preview as well. But this is the last official piece of content before the holidays for me. I'll be back on Tuesday, like I already said, with another podcast to talk about how my Christmas went and the continuation of Baldur's Gate 3 and then Like a Dragon. So I hope you'll all come by. You're right, I said the weekend preview. I meant to say the daily wrap. I'm thinking about old shows now we're talking about, and I said the weekend preview, not the daily wrap. Wow. There's a perfect example. I said the wrong word. Obviously, I meant the daily wrap, but my mind, I'm getting older, it superimposed the wrong word into my mouth, and I said the wrong word, right? That's a dead-on perfect example of that happening as I get older, and it will continue to happen, you know? So there you go. Anyway, to summarize here, everyone, please have a great holiday. No matter what it is that you celebrate, please be safe. Enjoy your times. If you're alone for the holidays, that's perfectly fine too. Still try to do something for yourself that you can enjoy. I'll be here. I'll be here Tuesday after Christmas to hang out with all of you with Baldur's Gate 3 and Like a Dragon Guide and, of course, a fun podcast. All right, everyone? Thank you so very much. Oh, by the way, the Christmas festivities don't end. I'm going to keep all the Christmas-themed stuff at least till the end of this month, if not even through that first week of January. I'm strongly considering actually keeping everything up until I do my year-end series because I really enjoy Christmas. And then I'll probably swap out to a different background and go back to the more generic animations and things like that. But thank you all for a great podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. Enjoy your Christmas weekends and Mondays. And I'll be back on Tuesday for the fun. Peace out, everyone, and see you then, and happy holidays.